Any shout outs?
Meridia is halfway to Emerald.
That's amazing. Oh my God. Yay. Congrats, girl. That's awesome. That's amazing. Jess is killing her workout up there. Anybody else?
Hey, what's up? We had a new baby join our family last Thursday night, so keep her in your prayers. She's still very growing, so she came early, but Steph might pop on here. On home though.
That's awesome. Anybody else? Yeah, okay. Anybody?
I will.
Okay. Go ahead, girl.
All right. My girl, Alexa, she's one of my new coaches. Sorry, guys, I'm losing my voice. Anyways, I have to give her a huge shout out. She started MM100, totally loved it, and like within a week was like, what do I need to do to start coaching? And she reached out to me about it, and like a week later, she's already signed up 2 new coaches, and she's an Emerald now. So huge shout out to her. I don't know if she's on here right now or not, but hopefully she watches the recording. So.
She's awesome. Guys, I'll piggyback that. I was saying Taylor's literally 1 emerald away from diamond. She's crushing it. And that emerald is in her control. So she's really just, her head is down, and she's really just not letting fear or doubt or anything get her down. She feels it, but she's doing it anyway. And I really feel like that's just such a testament to her. And now her coaches are following suit. And so that just goes to show like your energy is everything as the leader, because these brand new coaches are coming on and just running with her. She's been coaching for 2 months, and she has 2 coaches who I'm in a group chat with both of them, and they're all just fired up. And that's because Taylor's fired up. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, but that just is a testament and something that I feel like you guys can already take away. Anybody else? All right. Well, I'm going to just shoot out a couple of quick announcements because I'll talk about some of this stuff tonight. Danielle, do you want to drop just a little teaser about what you and Jess are going to introduce into the page, I think later this week?
Yeah. So you guys know that we've been talking about making 1 Star Diamond happen by the end of the year, pushing to LA, helping you all earn, whether you're pushing for Diamond and then 1 star, or you're already at Diamond and pushing to 1 star. It doesn't matter what rank you're at right now, but Jess Gill and I and a bunch of the other leaders thought it would be cool to put some skin in the game, and I'll be like doing a video to explain more about this, but basically it's going to be health bet style. So it's going to be based on you celebrating yourself, because it's got to be fun. Like, I don't know about y'all, but if the business isn't fun, what's the point? And accountability. So it's not going to be trainings. It's not going to be videos. You guys already get that on team calls. That's why we show up here every single week. But I'll be giving more details with that. But it's going to be taking all the things we're learning on the team calls and giving you guys a place to hold yourself accountable and do the damn thing for the rest of the year. So I hope you guys are excited about it. I'm still coming up with a fun name. We haven't decided for sure, but I know I need it through the holidays and the 4th quarter, y'all, that's where like magic happens. If you go all in and you implement the things that you're learning, that's the goal for this group. So stay tuned for more details.
Yes, it's going to be great. And she's so true. It's so true. We're going to talk about that tonight. Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to fire off a couple things to just be aware of. M100 is still on sale this month. September 30th is 6 weeks of work, right? On September 31st, September 30th, we'll go with that. I still haven't seen pricing on that yet, or what that's going to look like. I've been like searching in the FAQs. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be about the 160 range, and then it'll probably be like 180 when it goes off of sale. Typically, we don't launch anything more expensive than that, and then its regular price goes to 180. Pumpkin Spice is going to relaunch at the end of this month, so keep an eye out for that as well. So repeat orders from people who ordered earlier this month, and actually October 4th, I think, or no, maybe, I don't know. We don't have the date on that yet, but Pumpkin Spice is going to come back. Maggie dropped that date if you know that date. And also Peppermint Mocha is going to be November 4th. So we have another flavor coming out. So you guys, like, thank goodness Beachbody stays on top of it, and they continue to give us incredible launches. through the winter holiday seasons. These flavors of Shakeology are such gold, not just for our current customers, but these are like basically giving people samples of Shakeology, because there's no subscription, there's no packet or bundle order. Like, this is a great way to get somebody involved, to just get their foot in the door. That's something we've been talking about all month long. And so just keep that in mind. Like, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we move forward too. Okay. So I do just want to say, like, really quick, thank you guys all for being here. If this is your first ever team call, hold on tight, because I was writing out my notes for this and I was like, oh man, like, I feel like ouch, ouch, ouch. One after another. But I really hope that we grow together tonight. Like, that's my main goal. And growth is very uncomfortable. And sorry, if you're on here, just mute when you hop on. Growth can be uncomfortable. And I know that maybe you guys are walking in here tonight with a little bit of a heavy heart. I don't know what your story is with this day, but I know that my heart hurts a lot on this day. And I just want us to take the next hour to cherish the lives that we're still blessed to have, and really take something out of this and go crush the end of the year, because we all deserve that. Okay. So this season, I want to talk a little bit about the season that we're going into, the fourth quarter. If you're familiar with sports, you know the fourth quarter is everything. It doesn't matter what happened in the first three. If you play hard in that fourth quarter, anything can happen. And so this season is about learning how to be a CEO and not a seasonal coach. And what that means is not just in the summer months when maybe it feels more exciting to get in shape, but also not just be a seasonal coach in your life when it's easy to show up in the seasons where you have more time, or things aren't crazy and things aren't hectic. Maggie and I were talking the other day, and she was like, what kind of obstacles did we face in the first 6 months of our business? And I was like, well, the first 6 months of my business went right out of summer and right into the winter, right into the fourth quarter. And I remember feeling like, man, like, there was a little bit of this, but guess where I stayed? Right here. I didn't go down, because I stayed consistent and I kept my belief in what I was doing. And then when January came back around, my business was thriving. And it's been the same way every year after that. So a CEO doesn't just walk away, right? When things get hard, when holidays hit, when it gets busier, I know everyone's feeling that, especially with back to school. But guys, we want to teach you how to be CEOs, not seasonal coaches. And I don't just mean summer, fall, winter, spring. I mean seasonal as far as our lives go as well. There is a level of grace that we have to give ourselves. But at the end of the day, like, we have to remember that we're responsible for our businesses. Nobody else. Not your coach, not your team, nobody but you. And it doesn't matter how much your coach believes in you. If you're not showing up and doing the stuff, it's not going to get done. It's not, the proof is in the actions. And to be honest, this business is a lot of honest conversations with yourself, just strung together. This isn't just a push for the end of the year. It's great that we're going to implement this group to keep us accountable, but this is a push for the next 6 months, for a year from now. And now is definitely not the time to be like, well, I'm not close to the end of the year goal that I originally had, so I'm just going to call it a wash and wake up on January 1st and, just be like, okay, I'm ready now. Everybody else is ready now, so I'm ready to start running my business again. Or it's the holidays, so I'm just going to take a step back because they're probably going to take a step back. So, the trend right now isn't to like be into your health and fitness. It's to be into pie, right? So I'm just going to kind of do that, and then I'll show back up when everybody else is excited to be working out again with me. But what you do right now is going to set you up for where you are in February. I'm not just thinking about how I'm going to feel on December 31st. I'm thinking about how I'm going to feel in February, and how I'm going to feel in June of next year, and how I'm going to feel in September of next year. Because 1 year ago, I was sitting in our retreat, the Misfit Retreat, okay? And I was sitting across from Natalie at the table, and I don't really quite remember how the event unfolded, but I just started crying. I don't know if she said something or I said something, but I was just tears. Might have been a little bit of the alcohol and tequila, but I just started crying. And I was carrying a lot of guilt because I didn't feel like I was going to get to that. It is about finances. I was carrying a lot of guilt because I didn't feel like I was holding up my end of the stick in my family. Our finances we were struggling. It was just tooth and nail, it felt like. And we were late on some things. And I just I just couldn't hold it in any longer. And but really what was going through my head, we just had this talk earlier that day about Elite. And I realized I'm not growing my team. I'm not inviting to the business. Every dollar that I earn feels like I'm out there killing myself every single day trying to help somebody with a challenge pack just to make ends meet. And I don't want that kind of business. Honestly, I want to be selling challenge packs and hitting Success Club 10 and hitting Success Club 20. And yeah, I know that we should be proud of the income that's attached to that, but I also want to know there's a stable income coming in because I'm growing a really rocking team. Like, how many of you guys would agree? Like, that's where the residual income comes in, by the way, for anybody wondering. When your team slays, you're going to keep slaying with them. And girlfriend, you deserve that because you're mentoring them to get there. And it's not easy. But that was a really honest moment with myself. I literally thought about it. I was like, I'm not even inviting to the business. No wonder I don't have a team. Can't tell you the last time I sent a coach invite. When it's, when it's obvious, I would say it like, this girl's crushing it. So I would basically pull her arm to get her to coach with me. I was dragging a team along with me. My girl Sierra was at that retreat and she worked her butt off to get there. And she was really the only person at the time that I could say was in it with me and really grinding with me. And the reason was, and she has been on my team since 2017, 2016. I had no new blood and I had to really just have that honest conversation with myself. And I didn't start to feel the changes that I started implementing 2 weeks later. So FYI, guys, when you start changing your actions, you're not going to feel that difference in 2 weeks. You might not even feel it for 2 months. And that's just something that we have to understand because you're just going to keep feeling let down. And it's not time to quit. It's time to keep going. How many of you have implemented a power hour for 2 weeks and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even at Success Club yet. So this doesn't even work. How many of you, show of hands, please. Seriously, how many of you have been inviting to the business for a week and you're like, I have no new coaches. So I don't think this is going to work. How many of you guys have felt like you're doing it and then you stop? Sorry, Danielle, will you mute? And then you stop and then you're you blame it on the business. But in reality, guys, you're not going to see results in 2 weeks, probably not even 2 months. But a year later, you're going to look back and you're going to be so thankful. I want every single one of you a year from now to look back and remember this September 11th, 2019 call where you were like, I am so thankful I had an honest moment with myself that day. I started changing things. I started recognizing my debilitating stories and I went to work on them every day. And that's what I want from this call because I'm sitting here 1 year later almost, goosies, but I am in a totally different place. I'm not out of the woods, but I am in a totally and completely different place, not just financially, but as a CEO, but as a business owner. I've really been in the trenches and it sucks that we have to go through that stuff, guys, to come out the person that we need to be to handle whatever we got to handle, but it's just part of it. And we need to stop avoiding the climb because you have to climb to be able to handle whatever you're going to have on the mountaintop. Otherwise, you'd fall right back down and climb again and keep falling right back down. I felt that feeling 2 days ago. I was like, what is happening? I'm feeling so tested. The adversity is unreal. But I'm like, oh yeah, it's because I'm trying to do something that I've never done before. I'm trying to reach a peak that I've never been to before. So of course, I'm going to be trudging my way there and it's going to feel hard and I'm going to be tested because when I get to that peak, I'm going to be tested and I need to know how to handle it. Am I preaching? Can I get an amen? Like, guys, we have to sign up for the work. Okay? So, number one, write down that 1 year from now, you are going to look back on this call and you're going to be so thankful because of whatever's changed 1 year from now. Not 2 weeks from now, not 3 weeks from now, a year from now, you're going to be glad that you paid attention to XYZ and you implemented it and you got through it. All right. So I want us to have those honest conversations with ourselves. I think now's a good time. So show of hands, because we're a team and we're a family. How many of you would say that you're not even inviting to the business because you're scared of what that means for you as their coach? Because you feel like you'll then have to work harder, show up, reach your goals because you're asking them to do that. You're avoiding bringing people on this journey with you because that means you're going to have to work harder. You're going to have to push through your crap. You're going to have to hold yourself to a whole new accountability level. Now, how many of you are frustrated with where your business is, but you keep saying you can't find coaches, you can't find working coaches, or it's always because it's someone else's fault or because of what somebody else is saying? It's so-and-so. They just don't want it bad enough. It's so-and-so. I just can't find them. Like, she can find them. She has 700,000 followers. I can't find them. I only have like 2,000. She has hit Success Club 50 every month. I only hit like Success Club 6. So I can't find I just can't find working coaches. You're going to find what you are. So it's time to either level up or keep feeling really frustrated because things aren't moving. And that sucks to hear. But did you know, this is insane to me, did you know your brain will continue to choose to be frustrated, stuck, pissed off, and miserable over taking the uncomfortable and unknown steps necessary to get past all of that just because it wants to stay in what feels normal? Like, you could literally be in the worst reality possible, but your brain would choose that over going into the unknown, which is going to be a place that you've never been before. If you had, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. If I was already a 5-star coach, I would know how to be a 5-star Diamond Elite coach, and I'd be there. But I'm not. So I'm doing the unknown to get to this place that is an unknown territory. So to level yourself to Diamond, or to level yourself to 1-star, or to even level yourself to Emerald and get your first post out there, that is unknown territory. That is stuff that you've never done before. And so, of course, your brain's like, girl, no, let's stay here, right? This is okay. This sucks, but let's just hang out here, right? Our subconscious is doing that to us, and we're better than that. We can get past it, but we got to be aware of it. We will have to actively, on purpose, create a new normal for our brains to be diving into the unknown every day and making it more known. Does that make sense? The more you do the unknown, the more it becomes the known, right? So the more you do those things that right now are like so foreign to you, which, by the way, for me, that used to be like this, that used to be like getting on the phone with a potential coach, that used to be sending the messages that I sent today about coaching, that used to be the invites that I sent today about my challenge group, that used to be the posts that I put on my social media today, that I was like, that was just like really vulnerable for me, but I felt like it needed to be told. It wasn't even about the business, but it was just on my heart. And that's just as important. But now those things feel normal. It's not because you're looking at a coach, maybe like Ashley Molstead or Amy Silverman or a coach on this call. It's not because we are gifted or it's like easy. It's just because it's no longer the unknown to us now. It's become our known. And trust me, there are plenty more unknowns that we are trying to truck our way to and get through. Everybody is trucking their way through really scary unknown territory in this business. There's just no way around it. Whether you're an Emerald or a 10-star, you are doing something uncomfortable every day. No, you can ask Natalie, you can ask Danielle, you can ask Maggie. There's no escaping that. There is no escaping getting really, really, really uncomfortable. So it's like, let's just get used to it. Like we just have to actively know that every single day we're going to do something that's really scary, but eventually it's going to feel like our new normal. And then we'll find a new scary thing to do. And we'll keep tricking our brains out of this sequence where it's like, let's stay miserable and stuck, because I was miserable and stuck for a while and I don't want that life. And I don't think you guys want it either. Maybe it's not finances. Maybe it's just something totally and completely different. Maybe all that you want is just to have 2 working coaches with you who live 5 miles from you that you get to hang out with all the time. And that is your dream business. I don't know. But whatever it is, I know this business can fill that void for you. And I'm just really sick and tired of seeing people not dream their dream, because it's so uncomfortable to even imagine going for it and then possibly failing on the way there. Like that is like painful for me to even think about. And I have to remind myself of that all the time. Like, do not bring yourself down here because you're scared to go up here. Do not put yourself here because you're afraid of what it's going to take to get up here. All leading a team is, guys, is teaching them how to do what you're already doing. And if you are an emerald or you have literally no freaking clue what's going on, congratulations, you have a whole team here that's really excited to help you, both of you, blow this out of the water. But the proof is in the actions. And the proof is not thinking about the actions really, really hard, but then thinking of a reason why they couldn't get done and then blaming it on that, but thinking wanting to get it done was enough. How many of you guys fall victim of that? I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to, but this happened. I've been there. Sometimes I'm like, well, I really wanted to do it. My heart was in it. So it's okay. But the proof is in what gets done and what doesn't. And the bottom line is it's okay if that looks different for everybody. Jess Brown did a great job last week. The biggest takeaway I took from that call was make a list of what makes you feel successful. If you get these things done, you will feel successful at the end of the day. And that's just got to be you guys' priority. Now, that could be business, that could be relationship, that could be all kinds of things. But there's no reason to be laying our heads down on the pillow every day at the end of the night and feel like a piece of crap because we didn't do the things that we're in control over to make us feel like we're putting ourselves towards more success in our business, in our finances, in our relationships. So if you're trying to build a big business, you better be inviting every day. If you're trying to build a really awesome team, you better be inviting coaches every day. And listen, no one's perfect, so I just want to put that out there as well. I just had to have another honest conversation with myself a couple of days ago. Maggie and I, the value of a success partner, we set these non-negotiables and this accountability to be like, hey, let's invite this many people to coaching. Let's bring on this many coaches this month. We got to do it because the proof is in the actions, you guys, but you're not in control of the results. So that's really important to remember. Unfortunately, we don't have a magic wand where we can just be like, sign up, coach, diamond, emerald. We don't have control of what actually ends up happening. And how frustrating is that? Hi. I know, right? It's a lot of other businesses or in our professional lives, if we do X, we know it's going to produce Z, right? Would you guys agree? Pretty much. If you do X, it's going to give you a Y and Z or whatever. But in this business, we really don't know what the result will be after 20 invites or 15 coach invites or the most incredible coach sneak peek that you've ever put together in your whole entire life that you just know a coach is going to come out of and then they don't. Or the most amazing post that you've ever made in your whole life and then nothing happens from it. And how defeating does that feel? Guys, this is interactive, so raise your hands. But the point of it is to detach yourself from the outcome and just feel confident because you took the step. All that you can control is what you do. You can't control anything else. But if you just get really, really committed to the simple steps, just like with our fitness, I can't control how much weight I lose, but I can control that I do my workout, that I eat properly, that I consume my shake every day, that I'm being nice to myself in my mind, that I'm enjoying the process so I keep on going. I can control that. So I'm going to do that. That's all we can control in our business. But guess what? The results will come. I'm not saying they'll come on the first day or the second or even the third, but they will come. But the only thing that you can control is showing up. Now let's talk about your actions. Number 1, are you committed to a program? Are you posting daily on social media? Are you inviting at least 5 times a week? Are you listening or reading to personal development? And are you being held accountable in some way, shape, or form? And if you can't answer yes to those questions, now we know why you aren't where you want to be. And your team isn't either. And it's not all the stuff that you might have been convincing yourself of. It's the proof is in the actions. It's because those things are not being done. Those things are not being done. And it's not just because of why you're not where you are, but it's why your team isn't where they are. Because they're going to follow what their leader does. Not necessarily what their leader achieves, but the energy and the fire and the tenacity and the hustle and the grit and the consistency that their leader has. So your brain might be telling you, girl, you don't need that program. You got what you got. You are good. You don't need to try that harder thing. Like that's for those kind of people. Like you don't need that. You just stay right here in your bubble and do what feels really comfortable. But how many of you guys get really inspired when you follow someone doing a program that looks so wild and then they crush it and they're shocked and then you're shocked as the person following them? Like how inspiring is that? Are you posting daily on social media? Well, I don't really have a story to tell, and like I don't really have like time, and I don't have like what that girl has. I don't have that preset, and I don't know how to post what she posts, and I never get likes anyway, so it doesn't matter. Or I don't get customers from that anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? Are you inviting at least 5 times a week? No one says yes anyway, so like I got rejected all day yesterday, so that's probably just going to happen today. Nobody wants to join me anyways because, I don't know, or I just don't have time, or I don't really need to do that. They're joking when they say that's important. Are you reading personal development? Brain, girl, don't even go there. Like that's probably going to serve you up some really uncomfortable information. You're probably going to have to dig into who you were when you were like 12, and that's going to feel uncomfortable, and then you're going to have to deal with that. So let's just like avoid it. Okay. Are you being held accountable? You probably shouldn't tell your coach that you want to get on weekly one-on-ones, because then you like have to do the stuff, and then when you don't do it, you're going to feel really bad, and then your coach is going to think that you're slacking really bad, and you just don't need that negativity in your life. Like, do you hear me though? Do you guys relate to those stories? Because how quickly do we believe them? And they are so debilitating. And I swear it's like we don't even know they're happening sometimes. But they are like they want to be nice, and they want to seem like they have their best interests because they want us to just stay in our comfortable bubble, but they don't have our best interest. But the only person that can change that narrative is you. Not your coach, not these team calls, not your husband, not your boyfriend, not your kid, nobody. And that's like a hard thing to realize, right? Like we are the only people, you are the only person that can choose to change that story every single time it pops up into your head. And that sounds like a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. And that's exactly why we are not joking when we say this business is a lot of work. We're actually not talking about that 1 hour power hour that you should be doing to build your business. We're not talking about the 5 invites and the 1 social media post and the workout. From the outside, this thing looks like a piece of cake. Oh, you're telling me I can build this thing in like an hour to 2 a day? Cool. Maybe like a little bit more than that if you're trying to go big time. But the point is, guys, that's not where the hard work lies. The hard work lies in what your brain's telling you about all of those things. And I feel like we just blame it on those things when in reality, it's what's going on up here. And we know we're responsible for that, but that's just so hard to grasp and change. But it's time to change it. The only way, honestly, I really believe this. I've learned from a lot of top coaches. I've watched a lot of top coaches. I'm like, what is it? And I just really believe that it's about being on fire within and just inspiring people to come with you. And if you don't have that, like I'm going, no matter what, I believe in myself no matter what. Your energy is the most powerful tool that you have. It's not the words that you say. It's not the graphics that you post. It's not the preset that you have. It's not the followers that you have. It's your energy, and it matters. And the way that you show up every single day, I'm not talking about, faking it. I'm talking about being real. And if you are having a crappy day, finding a way to turn it around, because your business depends on it and you're a CEO and you got to show up. Okay? So if you're not inspired, why would they be inspired? If you're not inspired about what you're doing, why would somebody following you be inspired? If you don't believe that you can run your business, why would they believe that they could run a business? And guys, it's not complicated, but you will see proof that you can do this business when you just get really committed to those vital behaviors, because then things are going to start happening and you're going to build confidence. Every single time you complete that power hour, every single time you check off a tracker, whether you hit Success Club from this or not, you're going to be like, I did it. I put into work. And you're going to be proud of that. And you're going to feel confidence from that. And that's a huge reason why it's important to track it. So at the end of the week, you're not going crazy like, what did I even do this week? When in reality, you probably did a ton, but you don't think you did because you don't see a result. Okay. But in reality, you did show up, and you need to be tracking that and showing yourself that the proof is in the actions. You just got to keep going. Okay. So let's talk about having a coach on your team, bringing a coach on your team. Okay. Hold them accountable. All right. Now, I was talking to a couple people about this the other day, and I was like, it's crazy. Like when I bring on a new challenger, I'm like, all right, here's your steps. Here's your getting started. You're going to drink your shake as soon as you get it. You're going to log into your bod. I expect you to have your before picture sent over to me and your before measurements. You're going to check in with me, XYZ. This is your meal plan. I expect XYZ out of you. And then a week goes by. They're started their program. We don't see anything. We're going to be like, hey, girl, what's going on? I didn't see you log in your shake. Why do you guys think the challenge tracker has a log for a shake and a workout? Because those are the things we have to keep them accountable for them to see the results that they want to see, right? So why the heck aren't we keeping our coaches accountable to the same things that we're keeping ourselves accountable to? And I'll tell you why. Because we're actually just so scared that they won't do the work. And that's like really hard to feel. Like I've noticed that if I have a coach that wants the accountability, they're on fire, that's amazing. But it's that one coach that doesn't want to be held accountable, that doesn't want it as much as the girl next to her. And that's like gutting. And then we stop holding people accountable. And then we kind of are like, oh, let me pull back. That might've been too much. How many times have you guys done that? Maybe you haven't had a new coach yet, but I guarantee hopefully you don't do it now, but if you might blame yourself, right? You might be like, oh, I shouldn't have held her accountable if that was too much, or I shouldn't have asked her to take those steps in the beginning. That was too much. But in reality, guys, like that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're their coach. You're their mentor. That doesn't mean you have to know everything, but you're that person there to check in and say, hey, this is what I expect from you because this is what's going to help you see results and help you see success. Just like we have no problem doing when somebody comes to us after they buy a challenge pack and they want to lose 50 pounds. So why aren't we doing the same thing to our new coaches and our teams? You are their mentor. Just own that. There's nothing gross about it. Like I remember when I used to bring on a new coach and I'd be like, how do I inspire them to get to Emerald? And I'm like, wait, they don't even know what Emerald is. Why should I be worried about inspiring them to get to Emerald? They're inspired to work this business. So I'm going to kick their butt into gear and say, hey, to be successful at this business, we get to Emerald in the first couple of days. Really the best thing's 24 hours, just a friend or a family member. So let's nip that in the butt because that's going to give you amazing momentum and we can keep rolling after that. I don't know about you guys, but I want to be with a mentor that talks to me like that, not a mentor that's like, so I think the first thing that we need to do is probably, so why do you want to help? Why do you want to get to Emerald? And I'm over there like, I don't even know what Emerald is. I just said yes to this thing and I'm putting my trust in you. So what's my first step? So just tell them, lead them. And then guess what? They are an adult and they can choose to do it or choose not to do it, but that's not on you. All you need to worry about is believing in them, continuing to inspire them, and showing them the way. But if they choose not to, that's not your fault, okay? Sigh of relief, breath. That's not your fault, guys. And I don't even want to say it's their fault because maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe 3 months later, they come in and they're crushing it and then they decide it's not. I don't know. I wish I knew because I'm sitting here like 4 years into this thing, like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine my life without this. But if that's not them, that's not them. And that's not something that we have to hold that burden. We don't have to hold that burden because that's keeping us from the other person that needs us, from the person out there like starving for this, but we don't see them because we're worried about people who don't want it. Like, amen. Okay. So let me go down a little bit in my notes. The point is, guys, if you keep going towards what you want, you will find those people, but you're not going to find them without looking for them. You cannot wait for people to come to you. I don't have coaches knocking down my door. I don't have challengers knocking down my door. I'm in their inbox following up 3 or 4 times. That's where I'm finding my star challengers. That's where I'm finding my star coaches. I'm asking them, I'm following up, I'm continuing to share about it on social media, which I'll get to. But the point is that there's really no easy road. There's no overnight express. There's just, I'm going to show up tomorrow, excited, ready to inspire, ready to help somebody who I come in contact with, ready to give this business someone, ready to help somebody make a paycheck, and just having that mindset every single day and letting the results take care of themselves. So a couple social media tangible tips. Number one, I think about like a solid coach post a week. Okay. So when you think about your Instagram, if somebody goes to your page and they start scrolling, now it's like really cool because like if they just hit a post, it goes into scroll mode already. So if you don't talk about coaching for like 2 weeks, they're going to be scrolling for a while. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but our attention spans suck. So there has to be something about coaching, like at least I feel like 6 posts at least. So once a week, that could be like a Thursday and a Tuesday. That like last week I posted about coaching on Thursday. This week I posted about it last night. My point is you got to get a solid post in there at least once a week. I don't think every single post has to have a call to action. I don't want to go into social media trainings. These are all over YouTube and all on our team pages. But if you're not talking about it, how could you expect somebody to actually know that it's available? And maybe you're not talking about it because you're scared to death for somebody to actually want to do it with you. Again, mental block, work on that, dive into that, figure out why you're scared of someone joining you because that's like great news. But you got to talk about it. So talk about this community. Literally, my advice for how to share the business is literally just sit down, have a second, and be like, why do I love coaching? Like, why am I grateful for this? Maybe it's not financial for you like it might be somebody else. Maybe it's not community necessarily like it might be somebody else. Don't try to gain inspiration from someone else's coach post. Think about your coach journey. Think about where you were a year ago to now. Think about like where you want to go and why you're excited about this. Think about the fears this is a great one. Think about things that you used to be afraid of that you're not afraid of anymore. Like sharing on social media or inviting someone to join you or being a health and fitness coach. Because I know I did not think that was going to be my career path based on who I was a couple of years ago. So just talk about your story and why you're grateful for this opportunity. And then definitely put it on your IG stories like once a day. Now, that does not have to be, I feel like sometimes we're like, oh my God, how do I make an unfold like so-and-so that's like gorgeous, right? We're just so like comparison mode like crazy because this girl did it this way and whatever. Guys, just drop little hints, okay? I think an unfold presentation every once in a while is awesome. I think like a really powerful tell your story and an unfold is cool, but you actually don't even need to make one of those. You can just like, I don't know if you guys know this, but to have a plain background on Instagram color all you have to do is like take like a little picture and then go to like the colors here. So if I press blue and then I just hold down, the background becomes blue. Is that helpful? Or did everybody already know that? So you could literally, now I'm just like done, start typing. Boom, there's my blank background and I can start putting words on it. So just know, like, it doesn't have to be perfect or polished. Just like drop little hints. Like on Monday, I was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I get to sit here and work this and not go to my bartending job. Yesterday, I talked about how I was like hilarious 4 years ago on social media to where I am now. Today, you could talk about being on your coach sneak peek. Tomorrow, you could shout out a team member. It's recognition day. It doesn't have to be your specific coach PS. Like if somebody on your team just hit Emerald, shout them out. Like if it wasn't your PS coach, shout them out. Nobody knows. If anything, you're just cheering on the amazing community that you're a part of. Talk about the income that you earned tomorrow. Did it pay for your car? Did it buy groceries? Did you put it into your savings? Is it why you're living the life that you have? Like just little bits and pieces, because once a week is one beautifully constructed presentation once a week is worse than little tidbits 7 days a week, because people need to keep seeing it. They need to just keep being reminded that, oh yeah, she's doing that. Oh, that looks cool. She's part of that community. Oh my God, she earned a paycheck for working out on social media. What? They need to keep seeing it. It takes like 7 times for things to actually sink into our brains. And then inviting. So this is the way I like to kind of bring up coaching from that, and just really quick ways to get coaching out there, because they're probably not going to say, oh my God, yes, let me join your team. Like the first time you message them, it's probably going to take a couple conversations. So I always like to just drop it. Like I'll swipe up on my stories. So again, my team's probably tired of me saying this, but you can't have one without the other. Everything works together. You got to have stuff on social media to be able to send the invite. If you send the invite and you're not showing up on social media, why are they going to take you seriously? Okay. So you got to have all of these things working together. So if I'm talking about coaching, for example, maybe I dropped a little thing about my paycheck and what the income means to me. Swipe up, see who's watching it. I can send a message directly from there and be like, hey girl, thank you so much for following along with me on here. Has what I do as a coach ever crossed your mind? Ever crossed your mind? That is such a simple thing for somebody to answer. And for me, if you've thought about it, that's enough. Because that's how I was in the beginning. I just kept watching Natalie. I'm like, what is she doing? Like I was still in college and she was like, she's older than me. So she was graduated. She's living in a different city. So we weren't living around each other at the time. And I was like, why does she look so happy? Like, excuse me, like that's not our thing. We feel miserable, okay? We drink and eat, okay? Why is she so happy? Why is she glowing? She just left her state farm job. I just visited her back in like December, and she hated her life getting up at 6 a.m. every day and going to work. So like, what is she doing? And I just kept watching. And the moment it crosses their mind, that's all you need. Like, trust me, that's enough. If it's crossed their mind, they've pictured themselves doing it. So it's a really easy way to just drop that hint. Hey, has this crossed your mind? Same thing with workouts. Like, hey girl, thank you so much for following along. I'm obsessed with this program. Oh my God, I died during my workout today. Has doing a workout like this ever crossed your mind? Has joining one of my groups ever crossed your mind? Have you ever thought about trying one of these workouts? I have a free one. I can just send it to you right now. So inviting is not like this like perfectly polished, put together, here's all the details, yes or no. It's just, have you thought about it? Are you interested? Is this something that's caught your eye? So I'll say that sometimes about coaching. Like, I know there's a lot on social media nowadays, but has something that I've shared maybe caught your eye? Or like last night, I posted something about the social media comparison, and I was like, could you relate to anything that I said? That's another good thing to ask. Like, if it's a story that's really deep or a post that's really deep, did anything resonate with you? Or could you relate to anything that I said? And that is a question that's going to end up in either a coach invite or a challenge group invite. And then getting them started. So with a challenger, guys, you have like a ton of tools for conversations. So just ask your coach for those, because they're like everywhere. But as far as coaching goes, I totally love getting people on the phone. Now, I know that's not going to work for everybody, because like you might not have time to just jump on the phone with like 5 people a day or whatever. So have like something to where you can plug them into it, whether it's an Instagram sneak peek. I found that really successful, not because I had 500 coaches come out of it, but because it was just so much easier to say, hey, do you want to jump on this page and check out what I'm talking about my coaching business? All they had to do was follow. And then I can see who's liking it. I can see who follows that page. So I really recommend that. Once you do it once, it's done. And, or do a 10-minute video about coaching, why you love it, a couple little details, upload it to YouTube, send that over to people when they want a couple of details. Or just ask your upline, like, what can I give these people if they just want a couple of details? But I'm telling you guys, stretch a little bit and get on the phone with people, because they hear your voice. And I always make sure I say this. I don't want to get on the phone to like try to convince you. I just want to get on the phone so we can have an open, honest conversation. You can hear me, you can get to know me, because I really feel like you deserve to have all the information and all the facts so you can decide for yourself if this is something that you want to do. Because at the end of the day, it is all about them. I don't want them to join me if they feel pressured. I want them to join me because they're on fire to do what I'm doing. The next thing that I say when it comes to getting started, like if you have a new coach ready to go, don't freak out. Just get them into action right away. So you guys know what it takes to do this thing. You know what it takes. Action, right? Action, action, action. The more they do things they never thought they could do, the more confident they're going to become. Like, I'll never forget when I posted my first social media post. I thought that was literally going to end me. I literally thought I was in the bottom of the journalism school at WVU working on my capstone project. And I literally hit post and like I run away. I put my phone down. I was freaking out. And then I didn't die. And that wasn't scary anymore. And boom, confidence. First message, boom, confidence. Sign the first person up. It was my mom. Who cares? Oh my God, I just started a business. Like, I signed someone up. So the quicker you get people taking action, don't worry about teaching them the next social media training yet. Don't worry about even getting them into the team page. Because honestly, I feel like that's just too much at first until they're public about it. Until they're on social media or they've sent an invite. I don't recommend getting people on the team page because it's like, whoa, right? Just help them focus on people. Because at the end of the day, this is a people business. And the more people we're talking to, the better the business we have. So those first couple wins are really, really important. And then guess what? It's the same thing after that. Hey, you just posted on social media. Hey, you just invited. Hey, you just signed your first person up. Hey, you're at Emerald. Now you just keep doing those things. And they feel empowered because they just did them. But it wasn't like drawn out and confusing. It was just like, I'll help you do this. I'll help you do that. We'll do it. Boom, boom, boom. Now, it's not going to be like that for everybody. You might set that expectation of like, hey, let's get to Emerald in like 2 days. And then you don't hear from them for like a week, right? Again, not your fault. They're an adult, but it is your responsibility to go to them and say, hey girl, I know we talked about some serious things that you want to build with this business. I just want to remind you that I'm here to help you and I'm here to help you grow. So what's going on? Like, is there something you're afraid of? How can we unpack this? I always tell my team, don't let the wound fester until your arm falls off. It's weird, but it's the truth. If your coach has like a fear and it festers, it's going to fester into them walking away before they have too much skin in the game. So don't be afraid to ask them straight up. What are you afraid of? What's bothering you? What's holding you back from doing what we just talked about doing? And that goes for a coach a year in, 3 years in, 2 months in. Just ask them what's going on, because typically lack of action is something going on up here. So just ask them what that is outright. Okay. So now I just want to get into like what I want you guys to do after this call, where I want you guys to go with that. I hope that was helpful. And one more thing, when you bring on somebody new, just like you would with a challenger, just set expectations. I expect you to do this. I'll never forget when I said the word expect to one of my coaches. I was like, why was that weird for me? I expect myself to send 100 messages in a week. Why wouldn't I expect that out of them? I'm not expecting anything crazy or foreign. It's okay to say the word expect. How many of you guys have day jobs or full-time jobs where you go to work and you know your boss expects XYZ out of you, right? Like, it's not that weird. It's part of business. It's part of being professional. You should be expected of certain things. I expect things of myself now, but in the beginning, absolutely, I knew Natalie expected me to show up. I knew she expected me to do and to literally live up to my potential. That was really at the root of it. It's not about like, I expect you to live out your full potential. And this is how we're going to do it. These are the steps. So what I want you guys to do when you get off of here, actually, literally, like you can do it right now if you have a pen and paper while this is fresh, while this feels raw. I don't want you to go out and make a list of all the things that you want to do, all the things that you already know how to do. I want you to make a list of the things that you haven't been doing, that you don't want to do. And I know you know what they are. A year ago for me, it was just sending a plain old coach invite, not an invite to a challenger, but an invite to just somebody about coaching first time, right? Not to somebody I already knew, like really sending that coach invite, really having those kind of conversations with my team, really being real with myself about letting go of some energy so I can continue to bring on the energy that I do want to attract. Letting go of people who are choosing to not show up to their business. No hard feelings, right? Because guys, there's nothing hard feeling. There's no hard feelings about that. That's their choice and you have to respect it. And you just got to be okay with it. And you just got to stay grounded in what you want and know that what you want is okay too, even if that doesn't align with maybe what somebody else wants. Keep going and just keep serving. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about them. And it's about what they want to create and what they want to build. Okay? So I want you to get off this call and I want you to make that list. And if you're not willing to do those things, then you just don't want it bad enough. And I know that might sting. It stung for me. I've told myself that. I think I've been told that. And I'm like, excuse me? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. But that's not enough. Like I used to convince myself, I do want it. I do want it. What's wrong? What's wrong? I wasn't doing the work. And I don't want you guys to think it's going to change overnight, but you will start to feel it. And it feels so much better to go into that unknown territory than keep sitting in our suck and sitting in this place of like, I know I could be better, but I'm not doing it. I know I could have that, but I'm not doing it. You got to get consistent on social media till it doesn't feel scary anymore, period. You got to get excited about inviting until it just doesn't feel scary anymore. You got to invite to the business until it doesn't feel scary anymore. And you absolutely, positively have got to face those things. You know what they are mentally, emotionally, because that's why you're not sitting down to do them before they steal your dreams from you any longer. Because that's what it comes down to. Those things, those mental battles that yes, you can overcome, the lack of time that yes, you can overcome, lack of belief, yes, you can overcome, nip them in the butt before they steal your dreams any longer. The end. And by the way, I just want to preface, this is me talking to me as well. All right. I'm not sitting over here on some high horse. As I was writing all of this out, I felt all of this really hard too. We're all locked arms. We're all grinding together. We're all going through these uncomfortable things, but you know, it's just part of it, guys. And it's the most beautiful part of it. I'm so thankful for who I've been able to become because of this business. Does anybody have any questions or want to add anything or already have their list? Woo! I was scared of judgment. I don't care. Yeah, totally. Perfect. Okay, cool. So, yeah, so let's not feel it. Let's just like actually go do something about it, right? Because that's what's cool. It's not just saying we feel all this stuff, but like a year from now being like, wow, I'm really glad that I made that list and I had that conversation with myself. Okay, so sorry it's almost an hour, but I was like a little long-winded. Anybody want to ask anything or add anything, and then we'll peace out. Okay, next week, 8 o'clock, same place, same time. Rachel is coming to us from a really legit retreat. She's at this retreat this weekend. She's like talking with like the top leaders, like some of the most amazing women in this business. And she's going to bring us back like all the magic. So it's going to be really inspiring. It's going to be like really powerful, probably a little bit along the lines like mindset wise as well, but also things to implement, like tangible things to implement. She's going to be masterminding and collaborating. So we'll see you guys back here next week. I love you all. Thank you for letting me share my heart, and let's crush it. Bye.